Hello, in this video I'm going to go over some more companion stuff. In this video I'm going to talk about buffing your companion with group buffs such as Major Courage, Powerful Assault, and that sort of thing. Major Brutality, Minor Brutality. And then I'm also going to go over how to affect your companion's cooldowns with a set called Telvanni Efficiency. So let's start off with Ember here. Just to go over real quickly, her skill set. I have her set up with an Inferno Staff and then medium armor with a mixture of Shattering. I have 2 gold Shattering here, rings that give me 1500 penetration apiece. And then I've got 4 more purple pieces of Shattering gear. Each one of those gives me another 1300 penetration, so that's a total of about 8200 penetration. And then I have 6 focused pieces of gear, each piece giving me 569 critical chance for each of those. So this is the same setup that I used in my previous video for figuring out which what happens when you apply major and minor breach to your enemies for your companions in terms of elevating their damage. And then I am now going to talk about putting on other buffs and seeing what that does. But essentially what this build has on it is about 8200 penetration, and then it's about 15.5% critical chance for all those pieces. So this is probably going to be the setup that I stick with. It's all purple and gold gear with shattering and focused, and it seems to do pretty well. Let me just show you the skills I've been using. Basically, everything from the lightning collars skill line, as these are pretty good damage dealing, and then the hurricane visage from the mischievous collar. There's not really any damage dealing skills from the playful schemer, and then I'm implementing the elemental barricade skill here from the destruction staff. But basically, I have her set up to handle AoE damage over time. And so that's how I have her set up for all the testing that I've been doing. So I did do a run through Fungal Grotto, applying Major Courage with Spell Power Cure and Powerful Assault. So I can show you guys what that looks like here. This is the second boss and the last boss. I'm not going to look into the first one because it's just kind of a throwaway fight. And it's also really easy for the companion to bug out on that. They tend to stand really far away in that fight, and I've had the boss reset a lot of times. So I'm just going to use these 2 here. And what I've been doing is I look at overall damage. As you can see, there's just boss damage done. I've been using the overall damage in case there's any adds, and then I just remove my numbers here to get the true numbers from the companion, as you can see. So to start off, she did 9,466 damage, as you can see at the very top of where, right underneath the summary heading, and it ended up having a 21.1% critical strike rating. That is also listed down towards the bottom column there, where it says quality. That's where the critical rate is listed. And as you can see from the top abilities, the light attack was the #1 skill that did damage. However, it only accounted for 35% of her total damage, so it is valuable to have other skills on her bar rather than just light attacking. If you do take those skills off that are doing damage off, you're likely going to have a significant drop in damage. So just keep that in the front of your focus there. Also, you can check specifically how often things critically strike here. If you go down into the log, you can look at each skill and see how many times it fired off, what the average tick was, the minimum tick, the largest tick. For example, the execute here only hit 1 time, but it did hit for 50,000. So that's a pretty big hit for a companion. Another thing you can check on the fight is how often or how well you were applying your buffs. So Major Brutality was up for 100%. Pretty easy to do. I was using igneous weapons. I'll say it right this time so I don't irritate anybody. That's been like an ongoing joke for me. Powerful Assault is up at 98% here. Minor Savagery from the Assassin's skill line and Minor Brutality. And then also Major Courage is here. It is kind of difficult to kind of keep your buffs up on a companion sometimes if you're trying not to have the boss reset, but still apply some buffs to your companion to see if you can really lift their damage. But that's essentially what she did in the first fight here that I've got saved. We'll look at the second one here. Damage done again, remove me from the equation. And as you can see, she did quite a lot of damage in this fight, 12,058 DPS. And as you can see, the light attack damage is again in the 30% range. So it is worthwhile to have other skills on your bar that do damage. Damage over time stuff is really effective because it's going to be doing damage throughout rather than just up front and done. And as you can see, she had a pretty impressive critical strike rating of 20%. So another thing to look at here, looking at a couple of things, we'll look at the Thunderous Strike here again. It was fired off 7 times, as you can see, and the maximum tick that it hit for was 43,000. It did not critically strike at all. And why it split up like this is I believe it hit a couple of the little crabs that came up. So keep that in mind as well. Sometimes your execute is going to hit on an ad instead of the main guy, so that could possibly happen. But here we go with the buffs times. As you can see, Major Courage was up for 87% of the time. For some reason, I can't get the Powerful Assault one to get listed on this main table, so I've been having to come down here to check it. 96% uptime there. Major Courage was up for 87%. Minor Brutality, 99% of the time. So really good uptimes on the buffs there to get a good idea as to what the ceiling is for DPS for a companion. I wasn't really trying to pressure the fight myself. It was more of trying to apply buffs to see what I could ramp my companion up to. So I didn't do a whole lot of DPS in the fight, as you can see from the percentage there for the share. So I was really kind of just trying to hold block and apply buffs to see what we could get to in terms of a ceiling for DPS. 12,000 is pretty high for DPS for a companion. So we'll see if I can push it any higher in any other kind of circumstances. I'll try a couple other things and see if I hit any higher. If I do, then I'll probably make a video out of it. But for that part, I'm done with this character. Now I need to check. I'll use this new add-on that I recently did a video on. It's the Adventurer's Toolkit. I'm going to verify which character that I put a set on. And I just go into the item finder here and I type in Telvanni Efficiency, and that tells me, okay, it's on my Nightblade, as you can see right there on the screen. So that means I need to get off of this character and get onto my Nightblade. So that's what I'm going to do now. And we can go over what Telvanni Efficiency does for your companions and why it's important. So we'll just jump on him. And when we get loaded here, we'll pull a companion out and take a look at their skills when we have Telvanni Efficiency applied. This is a craftable set that came out with Necrom. It is a very powerful set. But here we go. I've got Isobel out. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove a piece of the set so that we can look at what her skills look like when I don't have the set active. Now she is wearing all quickened gear. As you can see, she's got 1 gold and all purple quickened gear here. And so her cooldowns are already going to be pretty low. And so she's already got 100% uptime on this, a 7.8 second on the first 2 skills. And then she's got 2 10.5 second skills and then 1 5.2 with this combat prayer copy, essentially. And so why this is kind of funny to use with Telvanni Efficiency is when you put this piece of gear back on, you now have cut the cooldowns in half while they are alive. And if your companion happens to die, then you get a reduction in cost in all of your abilities that cost Magicka, Stamina, Health, or Ultimate. So they have to be laying dead on the ground. They can't just put them away and have that change everything. So, but important thing to call out here: update 49 is not active yet at the time of recording this. So, if you are going to use a companion and you have the Ring of the Pale Order on, currently the healers do not heal through that, even though the toolkit or tooltip, excuse me, for the Ring of the Pale Order says that you can be healed by your companion. This does not work. I can show that to you by going into a dungeon here. Let me just make sure. Okay. So before we do that, now that we've got the set on, we can now look at her skills. And this was a 7.8 before. As you can see, the cooldown is now down to 3.9 seconds. 3.9 here. This was 10.5. It's now 5.2. Same with this one. And this one is now down to 2.6. So in order to get healed by a companion, you would have to take this off and put on a different item. For example, I could put on the Oaken Soul Ring if I wanted to, or something else, but you cannot wear the Ring of the Pale Order currently in the game. I do believe that is something that they are updating in the upcoming update 49, if not very soon in the near future. So keep an eye on that. It may change very soon here, and we'll just go into the dungeon here so we can show how often she casts healing spells. It's really kind of funny to watch when she gets this going. Let me go into this add-on here real quick, and we'll switch it to track add pulls. And then I will take the Ring of the Pale Order off, and I'll just put on. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just put that on there. That way she can heal me. I'll put on some defenses, but now we're going to be able to see. Okay, so then that add pull is done. So now we can go into the journal, into the battle scrolls, and it's it'll tell you what time of day you recorded this log. So right now it is essentially 12 minutes after 4 p.m. here. So that's how you can figure out which one of these is the one you want to look at. Also, I have 2 boss fights in here, so the parenthesis is 2, and then another way you can tell is the most recent one is always on the top. So we can go in here, and the boss fights are labeled with the skull, just like a world boss, and the add pulls just have that symbol on it right there. And so what you can do is you can go to the healing screen, and then you can go through and check healing with the companion skills, just like you would a DPS skill of some kind. This is a puncturing sweep. That's from my bar there, but as you can see, this is healing. This is healing from the companion here. Those 3. and the rejuvenation. So you can track that healing. 72,000 over healing. Unfortunately, there's not a way to isolate companion healing here, but you can go through the per ability and look at it and see how much. There was 19,000 healing done with this, 9772, and then 9,500 with that. She popped this one twice, and that's the combat prayer equivalent. So 100% of her stuff is healing over time, obviously. So that's what that looks like. So we'll take a second here to pull out a tank companion, and I can put the Ring of the Pale Order back on, and then we'll take off the shoes real quick again just to look at Bastian's skills. He does not have any quickened gear. He's wearing Vigorous. He does have a quickened helmet, pardon me, and a quickened chest. My memory is not holding up. So skills wise, he's got 11.7 seconds on three skills actually, pardon me. The heal here is 11.7 along with the shield and the taunt skill, and then he's got a 7.8 and a 15.6 for skills that have cooldowns there. And as you can see, some of these are not at 100%. This one only lasts for 8 seconds, and so it's about a 75% there. That's about a 50% uptime. This one is about a 50% uptime. This one is just about 100%, not quite, and then this one obviously is good. But when we put on Telvanni Efficiency, this is what is really helpful for doing more difficult content where you're going to have a tank companion involved. This really helps them stay alive because now, as you can see going through here, the cooldowns on these skills are significantly lower. You've got 3.9 seconds for this one right here that he can reapply this damage shield almost every 4 seconds, just a little bit less than that. This one is at 100% uptime for the damage reduction ability, so he will never be standing outside of his rune when you imply the Telvanni efficiency set. Same with the shield here, as long as he doesn't have the damage eaten through the shield, it'll be up 100% of the time, as well as the increase in healing received at the very bottom there. Then this one also has a reduction in damage for 8 seconds that lasts regardless if the heal is still up or not. And then it has a heal that works for 25% of his body, of his max health, so he can pop this every 5.8 seconds as well. So this is really helpful to keep your tank alive. You can run up to another ad pull. Now I'm just in normal Fungal Grotto here, so he's not going to be in any danger, but we'll just run up to the next ad pull here, and I won't really attack anything. I'll just give you an idea of how much he hits a skill. You can watch how often. See, there's his damage reduction icon, and as you can see, he's going through his spells quite quickly. Okay, and then really quickly, we'll just do the quick boss fight here. So then you can go in here and look at the logs if you want to. As you can see, there's the first boss or the first ad pull with Isobel. This is the second ad pull, and you can look at damage taken. Again, you can filter out the enemy if you want to. This is all going to be healing for me, and then the overview of all the skills. So you can look at the uptime of the skills by the companion here if you know the names of them. For example, the Basalt Barrier effect. That looks like it's the only one listed for the ad pull. Then we'll go into this boss fight here, and we'll look at the effects here. So there's the Assault Barrier again. So you can check out all kinds of different items here for damage. As you can see, a tank companion doesn't do very much damage. They just basically have the light attack, the bash, and the taunt skill. And so you can set up your tanks however you want, but DPS is probably going to be the most commonly checked thing in these kinds of logs from the Battle Scrolls add-on. But I just wanted to do a quick overview of what you can track with this add-on with the companions, and then show you what you can get for a ceiling for damage for DPS. This is probably going to be the upward tier here of damage. This is applying minor breach with major courage and powerful assault. So that's probably going to be a pretty close to a ceiling there for companion damage. So just wanted to make another video to kind of push on the ceiling on that to see what we could hit. And it looks like 12,000 is right about where that is. So if you thought this video was helpful and you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Click on the notification bell and turn that on so that you get notified when I create new content. And I have over 200 videos on my YouTube channel that are all separated by playlists. So if you go to my YouTube channel, go down to my created playlists, I have all of that labeled out to what they are and where they are on my channel. So check it out, see if there's anything there that you might be interested in. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.